This episode of Beyond the Closing is brought to you by First United Land Transfer.
Hey everyone, this is Lizzie from First United, bringing you another episode of Beyond the Closing. Today with me, I have Rebecca Williams from Hawthorne Real Estate. Rebecca, thank you so much for coming and joining me today. Absolutely. I know we were just talking a little bit before about summer and how your summer is going so far and everything. So very exciting for you to just get back from a cruise. Wait, did you just get back from a cruise or?
A cruise was beginning of April.
Okay, so a little bit ago, but still, that's the best way to go into the summer months, though, right? It's not too far off.
The weather was beautiful.
Right, there you go. Good for you. Not going to lie, I've never been on a cruise, like I said. Intimidates me completely, but...
You'd have a blast. You'd have a blast, yeah.
It's not, like, scary being on the water and everything.
Not at all. Not at all.
Maybe one day. That'll be in my bucket list of things to do. But I'm just going to jump right in real quick and really just start and ask how long you've been in real estate and how you got into real estate. Tell me a bit about your background.
So I was first licensed in 1992.
Okay, can I pause you there and just say that's the year I was born?
Yes.
So love hearing that because
right.
Not to just put it out there. But.
Sometimes when we do classes, the instructor will go around the room and how long have you been in the business? And people are like, 7. I'm like, I'm old.
Nope, not old, you're experienced.
Right.
That's what we'll say. But so that's actually really awesome for you. Okay, you've seen a lot though.
I've seen a lot, yeah.
So what made you, like I said, want to get your license then way back then in 92?
Gosh, I don't even know what first appealed to me. I think I've always had a love for architecture and building styles.
Yeah.
So that may have been where it first came from. Mm-hmm. I like people.
I can see that. Yeah, we were talking for a while before we even started recording, so I can definitely understand that.
And I like a challenge. I like a challenge. I do get bored kind of easy.
Okay.
So that doesn't happen in real estate. Mm-hmm. Every transaction's different. Every person you meet is different. Different wants, different needs. Mm-hmm. The housing market changes daily, right? As you know.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? Changes every day. So I like that. I like the problem-solving part of it.
Okay.
So I was licensed for about 3 years, and then, as I call it, I accidentally tripped into the mortgage business.
Okay.
Loved it, right? Like, I love math. Mm-hmm. Same thing. I love the challenge. Every loan was a different challenge. Mm-hmm. Whether it's somebody's credit or somebody needs to save money, but finding the right fit.
Yeah.
So I did that for a while, and then decided to get back into the real estate part of it.
And when was that around?
I sold for 3 years, and then I was 13 years in lending.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's a while.
Yeah.
That's definitely like a long time to be in something, but then to get out of it too. Like that's.
But you know what? It was a good mix for me because I think being a realtor first may be a better lender.
Yeah.
And vice versa. Mm-hmm. So, being able to ask the right questions, or even when you get a contract, if you get an agreement of sale, and you need, let's say that I represent the seller. I want to be able to ask questions about the financing. Or look at a contract and say, maybe we need to ask some questions, right?
And if you didn't have that experience as lending, as a lender, and as an agent, you would have no idea.
Correct.
I wouldn't know, 100%. Like when you just said, if you, as a seller, about asking for financing, I don't know anything about what you would do in that.
That's why you trust your realtor, right?
Yeah, exactly, 100%. Yeah. So, yeah.
I tell people all the time, like, this just happens to be what I do for a living. Like, I don't change the oil in my truck.
Right.
Because I'm not qualified.
Right.
Right. I can sell real estate because I'm qualified, right? We have a license. We take classes. I'm a little bit of an education junkie.
Sure.
So Hawthorne actually comes from, it's named after my great-grandmother.
Oh, no way. Okay. Yeah. Very exciting.
So my business partner is Mark Smith. And we co-own Hawthorne together. Mm-hmm. And, when I went into the mortgage side of things, like he and I never had a falling out. Mm-hmm. We just kind of, gravitated towards other things for a while.
Yeah, life happens.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I had a question one day about a homeowners association. Mm-hmm. And I went, I know who's going to know this. I'll call Mark. Well, 3 lunches later, he's like, why don't we work together?
Yeah.
And so we did. He had a different company, for a while. And then that partnership had run its course.
Sure.
As a lot of businesses do, right? And anyway, he's like, hey, we should do this. I'm like, oh, I don't know. Like, it's scary.
I was going to say, that's scary, like taking that leap. Yeah. And you were still a lender at this point.
No, I was back in the real estate side of it for a couple of years.
Okay.
And, 2011.
Okay.
We opened up Hawthorne.
Very nice. Yeah. And now it was your grandmother's Maiden name?
Yes.
Okay, so that right there
My
is
great-grandmother's
great-grandmother. That right there that has to be special,
Well,
for
you know,
sure.
I think that real estate should mean something, right? It's where you raise your children, right?
Yeah.
It's your home. It's holidays. It should mean something.
Yeah.
So Mark also has his license in New York.
Okay.
So, you know, he's like, okay, Madison Avenue. I'm like, no. Mm-hmm. Park Avenue, no. Mm-hmm. So he said, okay, well, what's your bright idea? I said, I don't have one.
Okay.
but I'm going to get one.
Yeah. Give me
So literally, it was just, you know, a quiet time after dinner. You know, the house is quiet, and I started thinking about it and thinking about that, thinking about family. You know, and, you know, my mom's last name is Stewart.
Okay.
Now, Stewart Real Estate doesn't have the same kind of flow.
Sure.
My grandfather's name was Jackson William Hawthorne Stewart. I went, oh, Hawthorne. Oh. So anyway, I called him the next day and said, I got it.
Just like that.
Got it. He's like, what? I'm like, Hawthorne. He's like, oh. So we both kind of had the same reaction to just the sound of that.
Like as a ring to it.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's funny because people, like when we go to the convention in Atlantic City,
sure.
people think, like we opened in August of 2011. In December, we went to the conference. And people are like, oh, yes. Like they think they know the name.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
And we'd been around for less than 6 months.
But you just roll with it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. We just smile. Yep.
That's
Just smile.
awesome.
Smile, shake your head, keep moving.
That had to have been hard, though. Picking a name for a business has to probably be really intimidating.
Because you know you're going to have it for a long time.
Yes.
Hopefully, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Fingers crossed. I mean, 2011, though, seems like you're doing something right because here we are, 2024.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's sticking around for sure.
So, yeah, I'm 32 years in the business. Mark's 42 years in the business.
Okay. So experienced to see a lot of different dynamics and a lot of different trends and changes that have happened throughout the time.
We've been through a couple cycles.
Yeah.
Right?
Which is great for experience, especially as we know with everything happening today, you know, the market's fluctuating. You hear it all the time. You hear everybody say that. So
people get so excited about rates right now.
Okay.
You know, been there, done that. Right?
Yeah.
It's
You're like, I've seen this.
Yeah.
This is
and it'll change. It'll change tomorrow. One way or the other, it will change, right?
Well, good for you for having the experience and everything like that that you do. Now, since you are I'm going to say seasoned. We'll say seasoned. Since you are seasoned.
I'm seasoned.
If somebody were to come to you, a new agent that is starting off right now in 2024, what advice would you give them? I feel like you're the perfect person.
I would say get a great mentor.
Really?
Yeah. But get somebody you trust. Mm-hmm. Right? You know, sometimes I sit on the Pro Standards Committee.
Okay.
So we see lots of different business models. Mm-hmm. I don't think some of the models are best for somebody new.
Okay.
Right? Like, I don't have anybody that works with us that I wouldn't give keys to everything I own. Mm-hmm. You know, so that the person that takes your phone call at 8 o'clock at night or on a Sunday morning, you know, one of the gentlemen that actually put his license in escrow, but he used to always call it wordsmithing.
Okay.
Like, he'd call me, he's like, I need to know how to say this.
Yeah.
You know, how to phrase something in a contract. Mm-hmm. You know, obviously there's standard forms.
Yeah.
But there's times they have to say, you know, what, you know, seller shall do X, Y, and Z. But you can't leave it open, right? What if they don't do X, Y, and Z? What are the consequences? So you have to finish the thought.
Yeah.
So that kind of stuff. And, you know, just sometimes even being present in the office, you'll learn by osmosis. Because you'll hear conversations.
That makes sense.
And ask questions. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm sure it's the same here, right?
Yeah.
You know, you'll hear things going on and go, oh, wait, I didn't know that before.
All the time. Yeah. Literally. So I used to process, and I don't anymore. But even still, like, I hear things, and I'm like, wait, I never knew that. And you're still always learning.
Yeah, always learning.
And, I would never if not in the office. I think that's a big one. I think it's really good advice to give someone.
The other thing, like I said on the education committee.
Yeah.
You know, take classes. Like, I don't think you can ever have too much education.
Right.
Whether it's real estate or anything else. Mm-hmm. Right? The more you learn, the more you hone your craft, the better advice you can give your clients. Right?
So how many committees are you on?
Just 2 right now.
Okay, I was going to say.
No, just 2.
No, but that's good. That's good. So you're putting yourself out there, and you're learning, obviously, by being on those committees.
For sure.
And giving your, expertise and everything.
And I think it's important that you give back.
Yeah.
Right? You're in an industry that that gives us a lot of opportunity. Mm-hmm. I think it's important that you give back to the industry. So sit on the committee, you know, spend your time, show up, be present, right? Or take like the new person, and just introduce them.
Yeah.
You know, I have I have a seller that I represented, and her son recently got, and it's some, friends. I've known her for a long time.
Sure.
But her son just recently got a license. So, like, I've invited him to events here.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Okay.
Just, nobody wants to be the new person walking in the room and doesn't know anybody.
Yes.
Be kind. Be kind to your other agents, right? When you see the person sitting by themselves, go sit with them.
Just like pick up that conversation and everything.
Yeah, just invite them along for the ride.
Yeah, that's good because it is intimidating when you don't know. I mean, I go to places all the time where I don't know people and I might be outgoing and comfortable. I mean, you and I, started talking right away and everything, but that doesn't always happen when you go. So I think just having somebody guide you just to have that like little.
Do you ever see the things like on Facebook where it's, the kid sitting alone on the bench?
Yeah.
Well, be that person. Be the one that goes to sit on the bench. Be present.
Yeah, exactly. And go over.
Include people. You'd want to be included, right?
Yeah, 100% for sure. I think that's definitely some great advice too, to be included and everything like that, to make sure everybody in the room feels included.
Feels welcome.
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. I would never want to, especially when you're starting out in an industry that you're not familiar with. Like, I would never want to feel like I don't know someone or that I'm unwelcome or anything like that. So
I always say, like in real estate, I think we speak a different language. We use terminology different.
Yes.
So I tell people all the time, buyers, sellers, agents, if I go too fast or if I use a word that you don't understand or don't understand how it fits in that content, let me know. Just ask. Like, stop and ask questions.
Like, don't be afraid to make it known that you need something rephrased or that you just don't understand.
Right.
That's definitely, I feel like a lot of people sometimes are afraid to ask questions. You hear all the time, somebody says, ask questions. It can be intimidating to ask a question. I still get intimidated asking questions.
I think people don't like to feel like maybe they don't want to show that they don't know something.
Yes.
Right? They don't want to show their lack of experience or lack of knowledge. We learn every day. Every day we learn something new.
Yeah, definitely. Without a doubt, for sure. I mean, we were just, like I said, talking about cruises. And I was asking you so many questions as if you were like the cruise, directed all the cruises in the world. Like, I'm asking you these questions.
Yeah, and I've done one. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Because I've never been on any.
We did the same thing, though.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, even like we were talking about you buying a car, right? You buy a car, you ask questions. You buy a house, you ask a lot of questions. Yeah. Right?
It's definitely so many things to learn and just understand that are unknowing and everything like that. So you obviously, like you said, are seasoned. You've been in here, you've been in doing real estate for like 32 years. Now, where are you located, though? Have you been in the Lehigh Valley for that time doing real estate?
Yeah.
Okay.
Always Lehigh Valley. We're licensed. Your license allows you to practice in other parts of the state.
Yeah.
But, I don't know anything about the Pittsburgh market.
Oh, right.
It wouldn't be prudent for me to give advice to a market that I'm not part of. So, yeah, our office is 121 North Cedar Crest.
Okay. Not far from here?
No, across from Trexler. Yeah, right down the street, actually. Yeah, across from Trexler Park.
Oh, yeah. Okay, got it. Yeah. I know exactly where you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, you've been local then. Did you grow up in the Lehigh Valley?
I did not. I was raised about an hour north of here. Born outside of Philadelphia.
Okay.
Raised upstate.
Okay.
Went to Philly for school. Went to Temple.
Oh, very nice.
And then moved back here in, 88, 89.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've been settled in the area then and just...
I love the Lehigh Valley.
Well, it's definitely growing, that's for sure.
That's the truth.
You've seen that, obviously, happen and everything. So would you say that your area that you are comfortable servicing, would like how far away from the Lehigh Valley? Like an hour or so?
Yeah, an hour. I've done things a little bit further north because I grew up there.
Okay.
So friends, family, a little bit of Schuylkill County, mostly Lehigh, Northampton.
Okay.
Because I live, and we're a little bit western part of the county, sometimes a little bit of Berks.
Okay.
Sometimes a little bit of Bucks. You don't have to go too far south to be in Bucks County.
Right.
Right. But yeah, primarily Lehigh, Northampton.
Now, if somebody does approach you for a property that you're just unfamiliar with, will you refer them out? How do you handle situations where you're just not comfortable with the area?
Yeah, absolutely.
You have no problem doing that?
I have no problem doing that.
Good.
And, it's funny, Mark and I, we've been friends and colleagues for a long time, but we'll still bounce things off of each other.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, here's what's happening. What do you think?
Yeah.
We'll still collaborate on things. He does primarily commercial. I do primarily residential.
Oh, okay. So you both have your own little, like, you know.
That's just what we gravitate towards as a personality.
Sure.
You know, he likes really big projects, and I like all the little details.
Okay.
You know, so I always say that, you know, I'm very OCD. He's very ADD. We're kind of like alphabet soup.
That's it. Whatever works, right?
It's great in a partnership.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is.
Now, is it just the two of you there, or do you have
No, right now we have another young lady that works with us.
Okay.
You know, sometimes we've had half a dozen. Right now it's the three of us. Actively recruiting.
Okay.
You know, we'd love, but, you know, it's got to be something that's the right fit.
That was my next question. How do you decide, like, when you're in the position of recruiting, how do you decide? You want somebody who is comfortable with you, obviously, but that you're comfortable with as well. Is that hard growing your team? Is that?
It's just that, you know, usually, you know, you'll meet somebody in a class,
Gotcha.
you know, or in a transaction, or, even, you know, some of the committee work that I do. You know, so maybe you're sitting in a class next to somebody and you go, hey, you know, I really like the questions that person asked, or, you know, it's really kind of like friends, right? You know, there's people that, you know, if you're in the grocery store, you watch somebody go, yeah, we're not going to be friends.
Right. Oh, yeah. Exactly.
But there's also people that you kind of have an instant connection with. And like I said earlier, I mean, there's nobody that works with us that I wouldn't give keys to everything I own. So if I can't trust you with my house, my car, my family, then we can't work together.
Then it's not just a fit. Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
So that's good that you just like, do you find that you then obviously, instead of like recruiting by like putting advertisements out there for like hiring, more so that you meet them.
It's a personal connection.
Got it.
Yeah.
And that's how you and I met. Honestly, we met at the one, I think it was our very first roundtable meeting here.
Yep.
And I literally remember I was sitting next to you, but in the space beside, and you were just so knowledgeable and just really held a great conversation. Absolutely. And then when you left, I remember reaching out to you and I was like, thank you so much for coming. You know, it's one of those things that I felt like I needed to reach out to you. And I was like, she would be so good to just, you know, have back in the office and to just get to know whether or not we did this podcast or not. Right. Like, honestly, I will say I reached out to you without having the mind of doing the podcast. I just was like, you were really just so knowledgeable and enlightening the conversation. And I was like, I want to be her friend.
That's really kind.
That's literally how it went.
Yeah. You know, and like I said, I enjoy what I do.
Yeah.
I really do enjoy the business and the friendships, the meeting people. I love the lunch and learns.
Yes.
Because it's always a different topic, right? It's always something every time you put one on.
Yeah.
Even as long as I've been in it, you leave there with something new.
Exactly.
Whether it's a new friend, new knowledge, right? New opportunity. It's really I love this. You know, my mom lives with us.
Okay.
And my mom's a giant Girl Scout, right?
Okay.
She's the sweetest person ever. And she now sees a different side of real estate because she might be, you know, sitting in the living room when I'm having a conversation. And she said to me one day, oh, honey, do you ever wish you chose a different career? No. No, I don't.
Right.
But what appears to her to be very difficult is what keeps me coming back.
Oh,
it's the challenge. It's the, you know, it's the conversations. But anyway, it was just funny. Oh, honey, did you ever wish you chose a different career?
She hears the stuff from you that not everybody may. She hears the behind the closed doors stuff.
Right.
Like,
yeah, I mean, it was at 10 o'clock at night. I was still on the phone with the client who, you know.
Exactly. You're there for them 100%,
right.
Without a doubt. And this is not a knock on anyone, but who wants to work at 10 o'clock at night?
Right.
Whether, you know, again, not saying anything negative whatsoever, at 10 o'clock at night, I guarantee you, the last thing I'm thinking about is work. However, if my phone goes off and somebody reaches out to me, I'm in it wholeheartedly. Like, it does not matter. And so I can totally understand.
And this line of work also gives you an opportunity to do other things, right? So, you know, I have an opportunity to do this with you, right? Sometimes I just take the day and do something with my mom or with my husband or with family, one of my grandkids. You know, so the flexibility is great.
And the freedom, and it's your time.
That's
and you're holding yourself accountable.
Yeah.
And
you know, there's times where you think you have a Saturday to yourself and the phone rings and you go, okay, I'm going to work.
That's it. You take that deep breath and you, all right, got to do this.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to switch your mind.
Sure.
Right. I go from kitchen mode to real estate mode.
Yeah.
You know. But
so now let me ask you, just because you were mentioning your family a little bit, what do you do to balance then the professional life and personal life? Like, how hard is that? Because you said you mentioned your grandkids and...
Yeah, you know what? My husband's amazing. I've got great support.
Oh, good.
You know, I'm here. He's home with mom.
Oh, good. Okay.
And he's retired now. Mm-hmm. So, it's same thing. He and I have been together forever.
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't know, we've just...
It works.
Yeah, we just do. Like there's things that I don't even have to ask him to do. Mm-hmm. He just does it,
So having that support and everything is...
Yeah, it's huge.
Definitely. I can, I have a good support system as well, so I can completely relate. And then my heart goes out to anybody who might not have, as strong as a support system as others and everything like that.
It would be really hard.
Sure.
If you didn't have a family that understood it, it would be hard. My oldest granddaughter, when she was little, she would go to the office with me sometimes.
Okay.
And she'd say to me, Becca, do you think we're going to sell a house today? Oh, honey, I sure hope so.
Right? Fingers crossed, baby.
I sure hope so.
That's so cute. That's good, though. But you were able to do that, to bring your granddaughter with you and everything. So
one of the other women that works with us used to bring her grandson when he was an infant. She would dress him like Mark.
Oh, my goodness.
She would put him in a little pair of khakis and a little button down and a little tie. It was hysterical.
That's amazing.
But she'd bring him to the office meetings. Mm-hmm. If we had a sales meeting and she had Peyton goes to the office.
And a lot of places aren't like that, don't have that flexibility, My son right now is currently sleeping in my office right now because I'm able, to bring him, and I appreciate that so much, but not a lot of places have that. So it's good to have that flexibility. And
if you worked in, I don't know, maybe a hospital or something, right?
Yeah.
If you were in the nursing, you probably aren't taking him to work.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we're definitely all appreciative for everything,
This First United has always had a very family-friendly, family-forward business model.
Yes, and we're so grateful. My son is in there right now. My daughter will be in there next week when I'm inevitably in here with her for a few hours, because that's...
I think it's what people work from home, right?
Yep.
Their family's around, their kids are around. It's life.
Yeah.
Life doesn't stop just because you have work to do.
Exactly, and you have to just figure it out and go with it, and, kudos to all those who are, because it is certainly...
Yeah. Well, neither one of us could do this business, this industry, if we weren't flexible, right?
Exactly. Wholeheartedly. Like, what are you supposed to, you have kids, what are you supposed to do? Thank goodness, like you said, that we're able to, I'm able to bring them with me. He's, in the morning now, luckily for him, side note, he's going on his 4th vacation of the summer, which is why he's here. Because
I'm a little jealous.
He's getting, me too, and he's got one more coming up with me in August.
Oh, that's awesome.
To be a kid,
he's living his best life, right?
That's it. Yeah, sleeping on the job right now. That's what he's doing.
That's funny.
And I know, I love it though. But I love that we're able to give this, that I'm able to do this for my son and everything.
Well, and I think it's important for children to see what you do, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they decide they want to be in real estate one day, or not. Right?
Exactly.
They go, man, that's a crazy life. I don't want to do that.
Just to see everything. So I will say, my son came in with me one day. It was Bring Your Child to Work Day this past year. And he came in, and I was doing a podcast, and I was doing a bunch of other things. And we left, and he was phenomenal. He was great. He left and said, Mom, I didn't realize how busy you actually were at work. He's like, you do a lot. And I was like, thank you.
Right.
This is why I come home sometime and Mama's tired. I just want to sit, and I don't want to, have to worry about you bickering or whatever like that. And it was just great that he could see. Do you know what I mean? It was the first time he ever.
I think they see a professional environment.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. Gives them a little bit of, how to conduct themselves. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love the idea of bring your kid to work.
Oh, it was great. He watched me do a podcast, and then he made his own. I was doing flyers or something, and I said, okay, now you make a flyer. And he was like, oh, really? And I was just showing him, and yeah, he was totally all in. I mean, it lasted a day, and he did fall asleep on the ride home because he was so exhausted. But no, it was definitely something that I think he, at least left with some sort of wow, this is what Mom does.
Yeah.
This is how some jobs can go and everything, and it was good for sure. Definitely,
it'll be interesting to see what he does
when he's older and
what he gravitates towards.
Well, fingers crossed for him, not to put it out there, but he does want to go to the NBA. So that's
okay.
Fingers crossed.
All right.
That he makes it to the NBA sometime. And
does he play now?
We'll see. Oh, yes. He plays basketball. He plays summer league right now, and he plays throughout the season. And he's always, I was cleaning up yesterday, and I was like, why are there 4 basketballs in my living room right now? And
because he's 11.
That's it. That's exactly what it is. And then we have little basketballs for my daughter because she sees Riker doing it, and she wants to do it too. So, yes, and he watches basketball, so fingers crossed. So I have to say this because you asked when I had my daughter, they're 10 years apart. The first thing he said, my son said after she was born, he walked in the room and she was all bundled up. He said, what's her wingspan?
That's hysterical.
I was like, Riker, they do not measure baby's wingspan. And when he saw her, he said, I bet those little grippers could hold a ping pong ball. And I'm like, Riker Scott, you need to stop with the basketball. I'm like, Mommy just gave birth. Can we not talk about basketball for a second? And I like to put that out there when people ask because.
My nephew and his wife just had a daughter.
Okay.
And her brother, they're 8 years apart. Oh. And he is so in love with his baby sister. But it's the same thing. He thinks that she should be able to do things that, she probably won't do for years.
Right, but they don't get it.
Right.
They don't, and it's so great to see that, though.
He is in love with his sister.
Good for them. Yeah. Good for them. Yeah, Riker and Ridley, they're pretty close. I
like the names.
Thank you. I try to be as unique as we can sometime. I mean, Elizabeth is so traditional. And I only get called Elizabeth. Yeah, exactly. Riker, very traditional, right? Yep. I only get called Elizabeth when I'm getting yelled at or when my mom is stern with me. When my mom calls and she goes, Elizabeth, I'm like, yes, Mommy, I'm sorry. What?
Yeah. What did I do?
What did I do? I'm 32 years old, and I'm like, what did I do wrong?
That's funny.
But, not to hold you up anymore or anything like that, but thank you so much for coming in and chatting with me.
Grateful.
Now, before we do go, I do just want to ask, if any of our viewers or listeners want to reach out to you because they think you'd be a great fit for them, what's the best way that they can get a hold of you?
My cell phone, which is always on, right?
Okay.
So my cell phone is 610-390-8385.
Okay.
Or email, which is rwilliamsrealty@gmail.com.
All right. Perfect. Sounds good. Like I said, thank you so much for joining us. Yeah. And we'll see you next time.
We'll see you at the next Lunch and Learn.
Yes. I know. Hopefully soon, right?
Yes.
Lots of food. All right, everyone. That was another episode of Beyond the Closing. See you soon.